Actually, this isn't even a video that I would normally do. But in the light of certain things, some things just have to be out and said. Hello y'all and welcome back to my channel. Today we are breaching the ever so controversial subject of MLM, specifically focusing in on the beauty aspect of multi-level marketing. And in all honesty, why I will not currently and will honestly never support any sort of makeup MLM, aka pyramid scheme. Giving y'all some examples, some reasonings, and just sort of that seedy underbelly behavior and rhetoric and verbiage that gets tossed around and used a lot that I feel is very much glossed over and not really common knowledge. Even though nowadays the MLM is very much falling under fire and isn't exactly this little independent salesperson thing like it used to be. People are not stupid, and they are starting to call out such companies as Arbonne, Younique, Avon, Mary Kay, Limelife by Alcone, and these are going to be the brands that I'm going to be mainly drawing examples from, mostly because I don't have a lot of experience with MLM makeup, and these are the ones that I feel I can at least speak somewhat educatedly on. So I'm just gonna throwing out my reasons, and we're gonna go into some of the detailing as well as talking about the companies and everything like that. So there's a lot to go over. Let's just go on. Okay, so firstly, if any of y'all are familiar with MLM, multi-level marketing as it is called, these sorts of companies have crept into the makeup community, although ones such as Mary Kay and Avon have been around for a very long time and are somewhat established names even within the whole beauty community, beauty talk. You say the names and people who are familiar with makeup, they will draw up a picture. However, as we have learned with, other cosmetics and other companies, not all makeup is created equal, and not all ethics are distributed equally amidst owners, creators, presenters, and all that jazz. And I have had a few of y'all say, hey, you should review Mary Kay. Could you review Avon for me? How about doing a whole thing on Younique? And I gave it some thought, and I was like, maybe, possibly, potentially, this could be an interesting whatever. And then I just was like, no. And let's just start off with kind of a base reasoning. And that is going to be price point. Now, obviously, take aside something such as Avon, which is going a lot more into that like $15 to $5, probably maybe $20 max price point. Obviously, that is a price point that most people can afford, and that is partly what makes Avon so appealing, because it is that lower cost in comparison to Mary Kay and even some things at the drugstore. However, insert absolutely abysmal shade range. Oftentimes, the price point does not necessarily merit the quality of said product you are getting. I feel this is especially true in cases of Younique as well as Limelife by Alcone. Limelife by Alcone, I was doing research for this video because I wanted to be somewhat, well-versed. And I'm scrolling through their online whatever. I mean, links will be all left down below. Y'all can make your own conclusions. But I'm scrolling through and I'm like, okay, all right. They got $24 blush, $24 powder, $24 concealer, $40 foundation, $18, $20 lip gloss, lipstick. Okay, all right. Those are standard higher end makeup prices. Things we'd see at Ulta or Sephora, people aren't opposed to paying that amount of money for cosmetics. And then you get into the palette category. I believe it is their 18 pan palette is like $180 $80. They've got smaller ones for like $90. But if you look at them, I mean, obviously I'm expecting something that's going to be a bit mind-blowing. These do not look mind-blowing in any sense of the word. And for $90, that is Natasha Denona prices. That is higher than typical high-end prices and verging into luxury. Like, what are you offering at this price point that I can't get from a reputable retailer, from a brand I already know that I can order online, that I don't have to go through a representative? Are you really bringing anything that fantastic to the game to justify the 24 blush and powder price point to a complete jack-up of $180? Insert somewhat better foundation range, and then we go into Younique. I feel like Younique is one of the most well-known ones for being a makeup MLM that is kind of notoriously bad. We've all seen pictures of the flaky, scary spider leg mascara. And once again, as the same with the Limelife, the price point jumping around, I mean, it's $30 for their fancy something make your lashes 3D mascara. And I'm like, you know, it claims to be all boosted and whatever. And I'm like, doesn't Physicians Formula have something like that for like $12? $39 foundation, with a really bad, oh my goodness, the shade range is pitiful. Clearly, they are not marketing on inclusivity. And then we jump into their eyeshadows. It's once again, you've got kind of typical high-end, you know, price points. And then it's like eyeshadows for like $50 billion. There's this palette that literally has 4 shades. 4 shades for like, what was it? $45? You can get the little mini Natasha Denona eyeshadow whatever for that price. What are these shadows made of? And part of the problem I have with the price point, other than it being completely inconsistent and all over the place, like, I would imagine, you know, them selling a bigger palette for, you know, $35 to $45, yeah, sure, whatever, not 4 shades. And then a main reason that I have problems with the price point, because aside from Avon, Mary Kay is pretty somewhat typical, but these other ones, part of their marketing strategy is the fact that they are marketed toward everyday people. Well, everyday people don't have $180, don't have $90 to blow on eyeshadow. They don't got, you know, everyday people, we're talking in like the $15 to $25 mark, and that's pushing it a little bit. So where do they get off with these prices? Because they're all like, oh, well, we're marketing to everyday people and everyday people sell us, but our price points are for rich people, which is leading into the fact that the whole, you know, well, we're for everyone is more a marketing facade than it is actually the structural backbone of their company. So I feel like unless the makeup was like fan-tucking, the best makeup I have ever tried, I wouldn't feel good recommending it. I mean, I've tried $129 Natasha Denona products and been like, I don't like it, I ain't gonna recommend that. And I honestly feel like these companies, I mean, how can they compete? I understand price point isn't always the thing, but when you have all these other comparisons, I don't see where they're pulling this price point from. Okay. And second point, lack of inclusivity, for a myriad of reasons. Shade range is abysmal. I mean, it is very clear that the marketing here is, rich, middle class white women. Let's just be real. That Younique is like, I mean, oh, which one was it? Was it it was the Avon. I think it was the Avon one where literally every foundation shade, every like, you know how we've got sand and buff and caramel and coffee. Every word was beige for every single literally 20 shades of beige. That's embarrassing. So we have that point. The other lack of inclusivity that I have personally, Soraya back in the day in her more desperate times, I was honestly this close to joining either Mary Kay or Younique. I remember talking to my mom about kind of the pros and cons of either or. And what I wanted to do is I was like, look, I'll join Avon, I'll join Mary Kay, I'll join Younique, and I'll be like the whole like multi-level marketing makeup lady. Because in my mind, as someone who's dealt with makeup and been all whatever on that, you know, not everything works for everyone, and not everyone has the same budget. So it's like, oh, you can't afford this $39 Younique foundation? Well, here's a less expensive one from Avon. But for legal reasons, you're not allowed to do that, which I do understand to a certain degree. However, I feel that just feeds into the whole idea of having to be locked into these companies of eat, breathe, and sleep this company. And I understand when you're working for a company, for example, if someone were working for MAC, obviously you want to talk about how good their products are. Hopefully you're working for a company whose products you believe in. But while that being said, you loving their products does not negate the quality of other products on the market. And I would feel very poorly being a makeup consultant who is recommending makeup to people and not being able to be like, oh, this doesn't work for you. Well, how about this over here? And the fact that you aren't able to pool your resources and things like that. And obviously, you can if you don't tell people. I mean, you can't legally join multiple MLMs and operate them at once. That is illegal, or I don't know. You're not allowed to do it. I know I used to be in an MLM. That's a video for another time. And I was like, oh, I want to join this one. And my upline was like, you can't. And I was like, why? And so I kind of learned the hard way that, when you're in, you're in. So shade range and the fact that you're very much gridlocked into this one company, one formula, one whatever, which, as we all know, as makeup people, like I keep saying, not everything works for everyone. And not everyone has the same budget. Then this is a very important part, and this is kind of the core moral ethical reasoning behind why I will never give my money to a makeup MLM is due to their predatory practices on the way that they get people to either join or purchase said product. Makeup is used in my mind as a way of enhancement, as a way for me to express myself. For some, it is a way to cover, to conceal, to perfect, and in some cases, it is a coping mechanism. The brand Younique claims that it is founded on empowering women, and specifically empowering women who have been victims of abuse. So essentially, their marketing strategy is, oh, you were abused? Sell our product and your life will be so much better. Younique is also a company that has touted, oh, we're cruelty-free, when in fact they are not certified by, I believe, Leaping Bunny or PETA. And there's often this false sense of, at least it was not so much makeup, but in the MLM that I was in, there is a large amount of banking on this empowering women, supporting each other, sisterhood, family, when in reality, what it's entirely based around is your expendable income and how much you can supply to the company, which I understand it's a business. But when your business is literally backed on individual people, you need to invest a little bit more into your people and in your quality control concerning their well-being than you are in simply pushing product. I will leave some videos linked down below, some anti-MLM videos. I know Beauty with Ashley does a lot of really great in-depth MLM dissection videos. But oftentimes, a lot of the evidence does speak for itself, and as people are starting to be more educated about MLMs and what goes on behind them and what is involved with them and everything like that, I think it's very important that we do take a stance on and we do discuss this, because a lot of people aren't aware of the practices that are happening within these things. There are just so many inconsistent variables that go into these different makeup MLM companies that make you like have to stop and pause and think and be like, most of it just doesn't even sound completely thought through. Like if you look at the Arbonne makeup, which I admit looks like, if this were an anti-haul, I'd be roasting the heck out of that stuff. And I was just scrolling through and you're like, okay, $20 lip liner, $18 lip gloss, $55 highlighter palette. I mean, obviously I buy high-end makeup. I buy $40 glow kits. I buy $55 Natasha Denona face palettes. But I'm buying from a place that I can make returns to, from a place that has a reputable history, and from a company I've used before, and from a company that has to go through all of the legal channels. So why am I going to spend $40 on your highlighting double stick when I can literally go to Walmart and pick up something from another brand that's probably similar quality and a lot less price point? What makes your makeup so good to merit that price point other than the prestige and the bouginess of being from your company? And if it works, that's great. That's fantastic. But in the greater scheme of the makeup broadening horizons, there are a lot of things that work, and there are a lot of things that work for less than 90, 180, 40, 55, 39, and even $15 and $10. If you want to go and shop out of the box and you want to support local or non-mainstreamed makeup, go buy from an indie brand. There are a plethora of indie brands that make banging top-notch makeup. Go get your fix out there. I guarantee you're going to get a better quality, a better experience, and you aren't feeding into this unhealthy dichotomy of feeder, aka those higher up on the MLM totem pole, and the people that they recruit, who they are really, look up a video, I will link statistics of the percentage of money that people will make on these is completely, it's laughable, but it's sad. There are so many other companies, so many better organizations that you could be giving your money to. And obviously, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I didn't include too much in the way of like super in-depth details. This really is just sort of a blanket, slightly into it overview of why I am not going down that rabbit hole. Obviously, I would love to hear some of y'all's opinion, but let me know what you think about, makeup MLM, what you think about MLMs on a whole, what you think about, do you support it? Do you not support it? Let's have a dialogue. This needs to be talked about. Thank you so much to those of you who have come all the way through on this video. I love you guys, and as always, keep it real. Mwah!